My fellow Americans, tonight we stand at a crossroads. This is a crossroads that very few have imagined. In fact, in just a few hours from now, President Donald J. Trump, your president, is about to do what no other leader has dared to do in over 50 years. He's going to unleash massive new tariffs that slam the brakes on the world, treating America like its bottomless piggy bank. Tomorrow, those 20%, 40%, even 50% reciprocal tariffs go live. Every country that has spent decades cashing in on our open door will finally pay up or pack up. Liberation Day isn't just a slogan. It's actually happening tomorrow. But as the ink dries on those trade letters, our Texas families are drowning. Right now, rescue teams are still pulling bodies from the raging rivers of Kerrville, Guadalupe River. 89 have passed away. 41 are still missing. Entire camps washed away. Children's names written on their skin just to be found. I mean, and here's a twist that the mainstream media will not tell you. While Wall Street cries about tariffs, President Trump is working day and night, mobilizing every chopper, every National Guard unit, every Coast Guard team to stand with Texas in its darkest hour. Two storms are colliding, one economic, one literal. And this week, guys, this will test whether America still has the backbone to defend its workers and the heart to stand with its family. So stick with me today, because in this video, you're going to see exactly who's getting hit the hardest by Trump's new tariffs tomorrow, why it could finally rebuild American towns, of course, the truth about Texas's record floods, the heroes, the breakdown, the rescue missions that you haven't heard, and why this storm might just mark the beginning of America's biggest comeback yet. Now, before we're done, you're going to understand exactly why President Trump's not backing down, why Texas won't be left behind, and why tomorrow is the day that this country stops drowning in somebody else's debt and misery. All right, so buckle up. Of course, if you appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you guys joining our community. All right, so I want to lock in exactly where we stand today. Okay. And if you haven't felt it yet, history is about to knock on your door. Tomorrow, President Donald J. Trump, his plan to flip the global trade table finally takes effect. They're calling it Liberation Day. When he announced it back on April 2nd, it wasn't just a slogan. It was the day that America told the world no more free rides. For 5 decades, career politicians from both sides, they let America be bled dry. Jobs were offshored, factories were shuttered, wealth poured overseas, but not anymore, guys. Under President Trump, and yet, as we brace for these new tariffs to land tomorrow, a second term is raging right here at home. Texas is drowning. Entire families ripped from their homes, 89 deceased, 49 still missing, children, parents, entire camps vanished in a surge that rose 26 feet in just under an hour. Now, I know it sounds biblical, but guys, we're going to unpack exactly how the White House is tackling both fronts, the global fight for fair trade and the fight to rescue our own people. But first, of course, you need to know what happens at midnight, because tomorrow, that 90-day pause ends for good. 3 months ago, President Trump stood firm. He said, I'll give you 90 days to play fair or pay up. And guess what, guys? Some countries listened. Smart countries did, at least. Deals were hammered out with India, China, and the UK. Proof that Trump's administration knows how to negotiate tough but smart. But for every country that wouldn't budge, the letter goes out tonight. And tomorrow, 20%, 40%, even 50% tariffs slam down, equal to what they hit us for or hit us with for decades. Now, this isn't revenge. This is called reciprocity, plain and simple. If you tax us, we tax you. That's it. So if you block our workers, we'll block yours. If you bleed our factories dry, not anymore. We're not going to play this game anymore. And so if you think that Wall Street is ready for this, wait until you see what happens next. Now, when I first heard about Chapter, I'll be honest, I was a little bit skeptical. I mean, I'd seen way too many so-called experts taking advantage of seniors who trusted them, pushing old brokers the biggest cut, right? It was all about their commissions. And I made one promise to my audience. I will not stand next to anyone who puts profits over people. And this is why I partnered with Chapter, because they actually pick up the phone. They actually compare every plan in your zip code, and they actually stand up for you when the paperwork gets messy. Leslie Taylor, who listens to us all the time on our YouTube channel here, called in. She called me first. She said, Ron, I switched because you said to, and now I'm saving thousands of bucks every year. That's my groceries, my gas, my peace of mind back in my wallet. And I don't take that lightly. So thank you so much, Leslie Taylor. Nancy, who's 78 years old, scraping by every single month to pay rent. She said, Chapter saved me $600 this year. I'm paying $1,510 a month for my rent. That savings means I might be able to keep my place. Now, this is why my name is besides theirs. This is why I tell you every chance I get, if you haven't called Chapter yet, it's not too late. So I'll leave the number down for you down below. Phone number is 909-563-8279, or you can visit Chapter online. It's probably even easier and faster at askchapter.org/Ron. They took care of Leslie. They took care of Nancy. They will fight for you too. I promise you that. So why now? Why tariffs? Why drop this hammer tomorrow when so many talking heads on TV are crying about how it might shake the markets? Well, let's tell the truth that nobody else wants to say out loud, shall we? For 50 years, America has been the world's piggy bank. President Trump's words, and he's right. I mean, think about it. Brazil charges a 30% tax on American medical devices and machinery. Yet, their stuff floods into our stores for free. Look at China, India, Europe, same game. They tax our goods, we look the other way. They keep the jobs, we keep the debt. Like, what kind of deal is that? Under old leaders, that trade deficit ballooned from $500 billion to over $1.2 trillion by 2024. That's not just numbers on paper. That's factories closed in Ohio. That's empty main streets in Michigan. That's your neighborhood out of work while foreign CEOs are buying yachts. President Trump's plan is smart. It's simple. Force countries to play fair or pay up. Tariffs don't punish Americans. They protect Americans, okay? Tariffs do not punish Americans. They protect Americans. I want to say it twice because I want everyone to understand, because this is the exact opposite of what mainstream media is telling us, okay? And they're lying. They say, build it here or pay a price for dumping it here, okay? And look here, Wall Street threw a fit when President Trump declared Liberation Day 3 months ago. Markets panicked. The so-called expert called, well, I don't want to say expert. It was plural. Multiple experts called him reckless. But guess what happened? The market didn't just recover. The S&P 500 smashed new all-time highs just last week. Why? Because this time the worker is on top, not just the brokers, because Main Street knows that when you bring back factories, you bring back real paychecks, real families staying together, real towns that thrive again. So tomorrow, when these tariffs hit, it's not the end of the world. It's the end of America being used and abused. And right as this economic fight unfolds, another fight is actually happening in Texas that shows exactly what matters most: our people. So while the world is bracing for President Trump's tariffs tomorrow, Texas is fighting a different battle tonight. One against unstoppable water and time. I mean, just look at the scale of the nightmare. At least 89 people confirmed gone. 41 are still missing, and officials admit that that's only what they know right now. Whole families unaccounted for, many swept away in the dark of the Guadalupe River, exploding by 26 feet in just under an hour. In Kerrville, the epicenter, I mean, homes were torn off of foundations like driftwood. Cars flipped like toys. Entire camps washed off the map. One Coast Guard swimmer by the name of Scott Ruskin risked his own life again and again, rescuing 165 people. One person rescued 165 people. That is God swimming alongside him. That's the only way I can describe it. Can I get an amen, guys? Some of them, tiny kids clinging to tree limbs, counselors who refuse to let go. And then, of course, there's Camp Mystic. Camp Mystic is a Christian camp where kids wrote their names on their arms in case they didn't make it. 27 campers and counselors were confirmed dead. More are still missing. Those are sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, not just numbers, okay? So here's what you will not hear on the big news networks. President Trump didn't just stand back and watch. No, within hours, he signed a full disaster declaration for the entire flooded region. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed it. The president said, whatever it takes. Every helicopter, every boat, every National Guard truck, Texas gets it. Senator Ted Cruz, standing in the flood zone, shared Trump's words himself. He said, whatever Texas needs, the answer is yes. And while critics whine that the president should focus on the economy, he's proving that you can do both at the same time. You can stand strong with American workers and you can show up for American families when tragedy hits. And he didn't send thoughts and prayers. He sent helicopters and soldiers and the promise that no American community gets left to drown alone. So this is the hardest part to talk about. But this is why this story matters so much, more than just the numbers on a page or policy on paper. You see, guys, in this chaos of this flood, there were kids, little girls, little boys who knew the river might take them. Some wrote their names on their arms so that rescuers could find them or at least know who they were. Two sisters, Blair and Brooke Harbor, only 13 and 11 years old, they were found together, still holding hands. They stayed together until the very end. One young counselor, just 16, pinned her name tag to her chest and told her bunkmates, when they find me, they'll know my name. This, guys, is the kind of courage that you pray that you never have to see in your children. But this is the kind of heartbreak that Texas is carrying tonight. So in the middle of this tragedy, something else actually showed up. American resilience, families helping strangers, counselors saving campers, a Coast Guard hero deflecting praise to his team and to the kids. He says we're braver than anyone he knew. This is a reminder that when the storm hits, we don't look for foreign governments. We don't beg the globalists for permission. We stand up for each other, right? Shoulder to shoulder, neighbor to neighbor. And this week, we've got a president who knows that too. Because tomorrow, as the search continues for the missing, Trump's team is still in Texas. Helicopters still in the air, boots on the ground, rescue dogs combing through shattered homes. And while the water is receding, the rain isn't done yet. More storms are expected in the next few days, which means every second counts to find the missing and keep more families from losing everything. And at the same time, when those same tariffs drop at midnight, America's financial flood finally stops too. For the first time in half a century, our factories, our workers, our families, we got the shield that they deserve, a fair fight. Texas is fighting to recover from a flood of water. Trump is fighting to stop the flood of our wealth and jobs flowing out. Two storms, one country, one mission, staying strong. So here we are tonight at the edge of two storms that will define who we are as a nation. One storm is a wall of water that left families shattered, towns underwater, families praying that they find their children alive. The other is an economic flood that we've lived with for decades, a flood of lost jobs, lost factories, lost futures, while foreign governments laughed at our so-called leaders. Well, tomorrow, President Donald J. Trump, your president, puts the world on notice. America is no longer for sale at bargain bin prices. And tonight, he's also proving that no American is left behind in our hour of need. Texas is not alone. Families fighting to rebuild are not alone. And the children that we've lost will never be forgotten. This right here, guys, this is the moment that we remember what makes us different. We don't fold when it's hard. We don't bow when we're tested. We don't drown in debt or tragedy. We rise up. So here's my message to you. Stand strong with Texas. Pray for the families who need a miracle tonight. Be grateful for the heroes risking everything from Coast Guard swimmers to teenage camp counselors who saved lives before they even arrived. And stand strong with this president who's showing the world that America still fights for its people on the flood line and on the front lines of global trade. So if you can help, check local relief funds, churches, and verified disaster support in Kerr County. Even a small donation or a prayer makes a difference. And stay informed, because these tariffs dropping tomorrow are not just about trade. They're about your paycheck, your town, your kids having a future where America makes things again here at home, not in somebody else's backyard. Tomorrow, everything changes. And when the floodwaters recede in Texas and in our economy, we'll stand stronger than ever before. So stand strong, pray for Texas, pray for our workers, and stay ready, guys, because tomorrow America stops drowning and starts rebuilding. Now, if you're glad you're here, please subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next update. God bless Texas, God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America.